Well, you must be the reinforcements we've been expecting. Can't say I'm overly impressed, but you'll do. Have you ever fought before, boy? No? Well, let me give you a rundown of some of the basics. Help you keep yourself alive. This won't be like the training, boy. It'll be 10 times worse and more, trust me. You got here because of the tithe, I take it. Probably got swept up in the conscription effort. You and the other million men that'll be arriving over the next few weeks, I imagine. This war's tough, boy. Make no mistake. We need all the guns we can get. Head to your post. I'll come find you in a moment and get you squared away. Right, let's get you sorted out, starting with your gear. We use the Cadian stuff. Well made, easily repairable, reliable, and most importantly to the administratum, cheap. Helmet first, the Mark 8 Tri-Dome. Make sure it's tight on your head, boy. You don't want to lose it during a charge and die to some shrapnel to your dome. Keep your rebreather attachment close too. Gas can get in a man's lungs before he even knows it. It needs to be snug and tight to the face. No room for the nasty stuff to seep in. It'll be uncomfortable, but it beats choking on your own melting lungs. Next is the rest of your armor. Basic fatigues with flak armor over top. The fatigues won't stop much besides slow-moving shrapnel, but the flak armor, helmet included, should eat a las or solid shot round, maybe 2 before failing. Don't rely on this stuff to save you from a bolter shot though. Those will punch through and then some. Don't rely on it as a shield. It's a nice bonus to not get caught in a single shot, but it won't save you for long, you hear? I've already had most of my squad lost and replaced twice over during this war. We've been a man down for a month now. So if you get yourself killed, I'll personally come into the warp after you and kill you again. Got that through your skull? Right, rifle next. We use the Cantriel Mark 7. Reliable, easily maintained. This thing's a workhorse that will only fail you if you treat her poorly. So you will treat this rifle like your bride-to-be. You will clean this rifle, protect this rifle, and sleep with this rifle. If you have nothing else to hand, I will always expect you to have her by your side. It takes the standard power packs, and each one is good for 100 rounds at standard power, but you can adjust it manually if you prefer a little more kick. But beware, this will lower your shot count a fair bit. Once the power pack's spent though, it can be recharged fairly easily. Plug it into a generator, take it to a charging station, and if you're in a real bind, you can even chuck them on the fire. At regular power, this will take down most targets in 1 or 2 shots, but make sure that you take your time aiming, and always shoot for center mass. Fancy shooting is liable to get a man killed, so just stick to your training, and if you see something that looks a bit thicker, jack up the power and start shooting. 1 shot every second is a decent fire rate that you should be able to keep up fairly reliably, but you'll get more comfortable with your weapon in time. If you see something that you can't make a dent in, call over Damon or Caster, our special weapons troopers. Damon's plasma gun will take out most armoured infantry, but save Caster's melter for the really tough bastards. Light vehicles, power armoured infantry, light tanks, etc. I trust my men to operate on instinct, but that comes with time. So for now, make sure you use your better judgment before crying for a plasma gun up front. But I hear you asking, Sergeant, what if everything goes terribly wrong? Well, if you find yourself in hand-to-hand with the enemy, you got the standard issue combat blade, single-edged and doubles as a bayonet for your rifle in a pinch. This is your last resort. It won't make a dent in flak armor, so make sure that you aim for the vulnerable armor gaps, armpits, groin, neck and face. Once you've got it in, you keep stabbing till whatever you're stabbing stops moving, okay? You'd be amazed at what a man can take before he dies, so don't take any chances. Once that's done, you need to get back in line as soon as possible. Don't linger, don't think, just do. That'll keep you alive. Right, tactics. Like I said, I trust you lot to operate off instinct and call things as you see it, but we always operate as a unit, not individuals. When in the trenches, you will stand by the shoulder of the man beside you and fire in concert. Make sure you pick separate targets. A single wasted shot could scupper our section, so if you see your mate lining up on a group, choose the next one over. If and when we do a push, we keep in staggered formation, each man 2 or 3 meters from the next, with me at the front and center. I'm your anchor. Comms Trooper Brandt will bring up the rear, so if he's ever in front of you, you know to speed up, and if I'm ever behind you, you slow down. Fire and move. Don't stay still for more than 5 seconds if you can help it, until we've reached an objective. Tactics-wise, we stick to the basics as laid down by the Cadian Standard. Some regiments may do it differently. I know the Krieg love their siege warfare, but we stick to combined arms. You'll never be far from a heavy weapons team or a Russ, so make sure that you keep aware of them and work with them. A Russ makes for a good rolling cover in a pinch, and heavy weapons teams will generally follow the lead of someone who can see better than them, so call targets if you think they're missing them. But other than that, just keep your head down, don't get blown up, and keep to the squad, and whatever you do, don't run. Commissar Prowl doesn't enjoy shooting men in the back, but if he thinks you're compromising morale, he'll do it without a second thought. And I won't blame him either. If you fug us during a fight, you won't even get a grave. Hear me? Enemies. You're in luck there. This war's against plain old humans for once. This is what they call a war of compliance, so it's up to us to show our wayward brothers and sisters the benefits of staying in the Imperium. Mainly that you won't have us kicking down your door and sticking a las rifle up their ass. But just in case, I'll give you an overview of some of the Xenos abominations and hellspawn that you might face in the future. I don't want to have to say this twice after all. Let's start off mean and green. Orcs. These bastards are tough as they come, generally unintelligent. They're prone to charging over open fields while firing wildly. There's no discipline with an orc, it's just pure, unfiltered instinct. But keep your head down anyway. Their weapons might look ramshackle, but they can pack a mean punch. They might seem stupid, but that's no reason for you to act stupid in return. When targeting an orc, you want to aim for center mass and head. Inflict as much damage as you can in as short a time span as possible. These monsters can take 3, maybe 4 shots to the brain before they finally stop moving, so keep firing until they topple and don't trust them to die easy. Where there's 1 orc, there's 1,000, so make sure you keep up that fire rate. They generally fall apart if you're able to take out their leaders, so pick the biggest brute you can see and start firing. Once he's dealt with, you work your way down the size chain. It'll reach a point where they're more concerned with fighting each other to see who gets to lead than fighting you. You never, ever want to let an orc get close. If one does, simply say a prayer to the Emperor and fix your bayonet. If you can stick it in the eye and get a few close-range shots off, you might stand a chance, but stay out of their reach if you're able. They don't need a weapon to tear you limb from limb, trust me. Right, what's next? Oh yes, the Great Devourer. The Tyranids. These rapacious buggers are a nightmare to fight, so listen well. When there's 1 Tyranid, there's 1,000,000. They mainly use horde tactics and mass charges, much like the orcs, but the average foot soldier is much easier to put down. A gaunt will usually be cored by 1 or 2 shots, but there will be a lot of them, so don't get complacent and keep shooting. Even the smallest Tyranid creature's claws will cut through your armor like it isn't even there, so you don't want any of them getting in close. They're dependent on leader forms. Warriors will be the most common, but they come in every shape and size. Great big brain bugs and armored behemoths the size of a small hab aren't uncommon. The hive mind uses them to relay orders. Think of it like a comms array, but alive and can cut you in half. For the average warrior, you just want to focus fire until it's down. This should cause a sort of feedback to surge through them, and usually breaks their resolve for a short moment. So take advantage of the gap and down as many as possible before they shake off the shock. If we see anything larger, it's a good idea to move in the opposite direction, hunker down and call in artillery until it stops moving. Where you find Tyranids, you'll often find their cults as well, mad bastards who think they're the Emperor incarnate come to save them. So look out for anyone with skin that looks a little too pale or purple and an especially bumpy forehead. They can insinuate themselves into anything if they try hard enough. So make sure you look at everyone with equal suspicion. The last thing you want is to be brought into the hive mind. Gods, what else? Right. Knife ears, otherwise known as the Eldar. These come in a number of different distinctions. We've got your Dark Eldar, your Eldari, your Exodites, bloody clown ones, but all are graceful and deadly. The knife ears generally field much smaller numbers than the previous two, but don't be mistaken. They pack a punch for a dying race, and their armor can soak up more damage than you'd expect. 3 to 5 shots is your standard, and that's if you hit them at all. These things move fast as you like, blink and you'll miss it type stuff, so keep a steady aim and try to lead their movement. This goes for any type you see, Drukhari, Eldari, and anything in between. Their weapons will carve up your flak like it's paper, so try to avoid getting hit, will ya? I once saw a trooper fall to pieces mid-charge, literally fall to pieces, like he got diced by the head chef of some fancy up-hiver diner. Still sticks in my mind. Next, the Tau. Upstarts. This lot are probably the closest thing to the guard that Xenos come. God Emperor forgive me for that. They like their combined arms tactics too, but between you and me, they do it a bit better. Those warsuits they employ have it all: missiles, plasma, railguns and chain cannons, so try and avoid their attentions and call up the heavies if you see them. Your las rifle won't do much against them. What it can deal with is their troopers. Their armor is a bit tougher than flak, so 2 to 3 shots is generally the norm. But make sure you use cover well and coordinate with the rest of the squad, because you'll only get one volley off before they turn to face, and those rifles of theirs are vicious indeed. They also field a lot of other Xenos types as well, from the voracious Kroot to the flying Vespids. They all die the same though after a couple of last rounds, so just keep that stuck to your shoulder and your head on a swivel. The Tau won't give you a second chance if you make a mistake, and I personally would like to die old and in my bed, not to a Tau missile barrage. The Necrons. Where to start? They look like metal skeletons, so you can't miss them. These suckers are a chore to put down. They're able to self-repair quickly and generally shrug off most of the fire put their way, so if you see them, aim for the eyes and center mass. If they take enough damage, they phase out, so if one falls, keep firing until you see it disintegrate and then move to the next. If you leave one on the ground, it'll just get up and shoot you in the back. This is where the heavies come into their own. A melter or a plasma shot will put one down for good, so make sure you let them do their thing. They employ a wide range of horrors, so watch out. I've seen the tiny scarabs they employ chew a man into nothing in less than a second, so keep your frags handy to dissipate swarms. The larger stuff warrants heavier firepower, so we try to leave them to the tankers and their toys. It's our job to clear out the infantry. Stop the infantry, and you stop the push. The larger constructs won't be touched by las fire, but the heavy infantry can go down to some well-placed plasma shots and a barrage of las, so make sure you focus fire, whack that power level up, and aim true. Right, now make sure you say a prayer to the Emperor, because we're moving on to something a little bit less known. Traitor forces, otherwise known as the Legions of Chaos. The forces of Chaos are our dark mirror. They employ everything we do, but twisted and warped. Demon engines, warped angels of death, even the bastard traitor guard regiments. They know us as well as we know them, so it's always going to be a rough fight where Chaos is concerned. The traitor guard are simple enough. Just imagine that you're fighting yourself is all. They have our discipline and training, but their minds are addled by the warp, and they're prone to following their own impulses. So if you goad them, you can usually force a charge. Makes it easier to pick them off. The real threat comes from the traitor Astartes. It only takes one of these brutes to turn a battle, so if you see one, it's generally wise to call in everything you can to pummel it into the dirt. Their armor can take as many last shots as you can fire, and they move faster than the eye can follow. You haven't known terror till you've seen that, trust me boy. A metal behemoth charging an open field, its armor glowing from all the last shots it's taken, screaming as it closes in, sword in hand. If you have to face one of these, I'm sorry to say, it's likely the end of the line for you. So aim for the eyes if you're able, but if not, see if you can get your bayonet in the armor seals. You won't kill it, but you might slow it down a little. A crack grenade down the throat might do it too, if you can pull it off. Whatever happens though, make sure you aren't captured. Those monsters will do things to you that you couldn't imagine in your worst nightmares, so make sure you go out fighting. Right, that concludes that, so let's talk general rules for keeping alive. I've been serving in the Guard for the better part of a decade, and in all that time, 3 rules have kept me and mine alive for as long as possible, so listen good. Rule number 1, keep to your own. We're a squad here, and we work together. If the men and women around you don't think that you've got their back, they won't have yours, and fighting alone is a lot harder than fighting together. Stick to your squad, cover your squad, and do everything that you can to keep your squad alive. If you do that, they'll keep you alive in turn, if they're able. As a unit, we're then able to support the other squads, and they in turn support us. If we can't trust each other, we've already lost, so make sure you fight for your own and trust that they're fighting for you too. Rule number 2, keep careful. I've already said this, but make sure you keep careful with your shooting. 1 well-aimed shot is worth 10 panicked ones, so get that shake out your arm and aim true. Don't try anything fancy and keep shooting till it drops. The second half of this is to keep your head on a swivel. We're fighting men today, but next year it could be any number of monstrosities. They can come from above, below, and all around if they so desire, so make sure you keep scanning and call out any enemies you think we've missed. I don't plan on being shot in the arse, so make sure you check your angles. Rule 3. You keep clean, keep dry, keep functional. Wet feet can kill the most seasoned veteran. You got a few pairs of socks, so make sure you've always got a dry spare at hand. If your feet are wet, you change them when you're able and hang the wet ones around your neck. Your body heat should dry them out in a few hours, so you should be able to keep the cycle up. At the end of the day, try and take your boots off and hang them near the fire or somewhere warm where they can dry out. If you don't, you risk rot foot and blood infections. Same goes for the rest of your kit. It's hardy, but if you don't take care of it, it can't take care of you. Clean your rifle whenever you're able, and make sure you don't let crap build up and around your armor. The last thing you want is a bit of muck breaking your rebreather seal. Choking on your lungs isn't something you get to experience twice. Do all this and you might just survive, and you'll keep the rest of us alive along with you. But I'll give you a last tip, just to give you the edge you need. Pray. Keep your prayers up, even when you think he's not listening. I've prayed every night since I've joined up, and the Emperor's helped me protect myself ever since. Say your prayers, keep your Aquila close by, and make sure you keep the God Emperor close in mind. If all goes well, he'll lend you a little luck for your faith. And that's the other half of this after all. Luck, I tell you, the things I've lived through. That story will have to wait. Squad Corvo receiving, sir. Yes, sir. Received, sir. Bloody bombardment incoming. Everybody get down. Guns up, troopers. They're making a charge.